Watch this oddly shaped button. The funny guy studies it for a moment, then he leans in to sniff it. Wow, what a strong bad smell. But buttons like this are countless on all four walls. The funny guy is truly frustrated. He then presses one button. Suddenly a speaker appears out of nowhere on the ground. He presses another button, and another potted plant appears in front of him. He feels like he's opening blind boxes. He gradually finds it interesting, but when he presses again, a fierce dog is about to jump out, nearly scaring the funny guy into becoming Yoga. The fright just now made him forget which button he pressed, so he carefully presses another button. A giant vase lands steadily. The funny guy approaches to take a closer look. It seems to be just an ordinary large vase. Getting these irrelevant items every time makes him feel more and more bored. But suddenly he gets a pair of chopsticks. He keeps pressing the buttons, and pairs of chopsticks keep landing one after another. Men with hairstyles like the funny guys have a special liking for chopsticks. Soon the chopsticks pile up into a small mountain. His face is full of pure joy, but accidentally, he pressed the button next to it. A small cart hits his leg. The pain makes the funny guy shout "Daddy!" Angry, he immediately presses a button. As a result, the button instantly turns into the shape of a butt, followed by a toxic gas that makes the funny guy question his life. He picks up the speaker, asking who the heck did this, trapping himself here. Hurry up and let him out. The camera shifts. At this moment there are many items in the empty room. Have you noticed? We are just like the funny guy. No matter how big the room is, the items will become more and more. At this moment he is wearing a mask. Bored and sprawled on the chair, he casually throws out a pink ball. But in the next second, a plate of sushi is thrown out seriously. The funny guy is now starving to death, but he finds the sushi is given, but no soy sauce is given. This is too evil. The funny guy curses the person who did this to never have paper when using the toilet for the rest of their life. He presses the button next to it, hoping soy sauce will appear. However, sushi, still sushi. Since that's the case, the funny guy can only make do with a meal today. He only realizes now that sushi can be so delicious without soy sauce. I can only taste the sweetness of steamed bread when I'm hungry too. After eating the whole plate of sushi, the funny guy feels thirsty, so he presses the button, but the arrival of this bottle of soy sauce instantly makes the funny guy furious. The more the funny guy thinks about it, the more angry he becomes. Deciding to eat another plate of sushi, who knows? He pressed the wrong button the next second. A countdown appears in the room, followed by a huge object falling from the top of the room. Oh no. He feels like he's going to be crushed to death, but the next second, Okay, fine, play it this way. The camera shifts. At this moment the funny guy has already picked up a comic book, but when he finishes reading the 5th one and wants to read the 6th one, he presses the button. What pops out is actually the 7th one. He continues to press for the 8th one. The 9th one. In short, there is no 6th one. It has to be said, the person who locked him up here is really a good writer. The funny guy is so anxious that he stutters. Yeah. He presses the button in front of him, waiting for the 6th one to appear, without noticing the exit behind him. When he realizes it, the stone door has already closed. He desperately wants to press the button to open the stone door, but he forgets which button it was just now. The first press. A savage runs past in front of him. Press again. A stream of water shoots straight to his forehead. Press again. The stone door finally opens, but when he runs over, the button resets and the stone door falls again. In your opinion, this is a basic level of an escape room, but it's a problem that the funny guy CPU can't solve even if it's fried. He poses, with his foot pressing the button instantly, running towards the stone door, but the 2 ounces of fat on his waist make him destined to not fly. Repeated attempts are in vain. It seems that relying on leg speed alone is not enough, so he tries every way to use a fly swatter, a jump rope, and even a small cart, but without exception, he fails. Then he has a brainstorm, moves the giant vase to press the button, but who knows, the button can actually lift the vase. It seems that the weight of the vase must be increased. He thinks, didn't there just be a water column pouring on his head earlier? Just fill the vase with water, isn't that good? However, when he presses the button, he realizes, no matter where he goes, the water column will follow him, and can't enter the vase at all. He can only catch it with his mouth, and then pour it into the bottle mouthful by mouthful. But it's too much work. Let's start plan B. The funny guy puts countless sushi into the vase. He's really smart, I have to say. This is much faster. But what I mean is, however, when the vase is full, he realizes the weak funny guy can't carry it. He can only take out some, but his hands are too thick to reach in, so he uses chopsticks. He manages to take out some. The funny guy can carry it now, but he forgets which button opens the stone door. He accidentally summons a savage. The savage accidentally kicks his vase and breaks it. The funny guy instantly collapses into uncontrollable chaos. He covers the button with sushi, but the button still stands tall. He seals it with tape. It still stands tall, finally sealed with a road sign. The funny guy pushes it all the way to the stone door, But unfortunately, the road sign doesn't work, and the stone door falls and hits his old waist. The funny guy can't think of any other way, so he takes 2 painkillers and sleeps for a while. After waking up, he is once again full of fighting spirit. He presses each button on the wall one by one, finding that when one button is pressed, a rope will descend from the ceiling, so he has a flash of inspiration. When the stone door opens, he can just swing across using the rope right. The funny guy finally succeeds, but when he turns the door handle, he realizes that the door can't be opened at all. He looks closely. To open this door, a key is actually needed. He is hit again by the falling stone door. The funny guy is furious, kicking the wall, but unexpectedly he accidentally kicks the mechanism. A key suddenly appears in the distance, but when he walks closer, the key disappears again. Facing this situation, although the funny guy doesn't have much brain power, but sometimes he does, he immediately comes up with a way to solve it. First, use sushi to mark the switches for the stone door and the key. Then use a rope to block the key switch position. Use a plunger to press the key button. Using the reaction force from the plunger, block to the other side to get the key. Then press the stone door button, and use the rope to block the stone door position again. He succeeded, dancing with joy, but the door won't open no matter what. A bad premonition arises. When he looks up, there is another combination lock on top of the door. The funny guy shouts in anger, and his old waist is hit by the stone door again. He angrily throws the plunger far away. Hitting a button, a savage appears, with exactly 3 numbers on its forehead. Couldn't it be this coincidental? The funny guy, who was just desolate, instantly reignites his hope, so he follows the same method as before, using the numbers on the black man's forehead to successfully open the combination lock. Excited heart, shaking hands, although the door is opened, the stone door also falls. He finally leaves this creepy place, but he finds that, due to the narrow space, he can't pass through that door at all. The funny guy sits in this narrow space. He feels like his life is coming to an end. He recalls everything in his life, but then suddenly he feels a breeze, and when he raises his hand, the real exit is actually the sliding door on the side. It's truly a sudden turn for the better. He runs quickly towards the direction of the exit, passing through countless doors, until he is exhausted. He finally reaches the end, but when he looks up, he finds himself in another escape room, bigger than before, darker than before, and with even more buttons than before.